Well, you're 6 months in and you've started the year, no doubt, with clarity, with energy, and with a real sense of what you're building towards. And you've been building, and working very hard since then, but something still doesn't land the way that you'd hoped. Well, here's the thing. It's probably not what you think it is. It's not marketing. It's not your offer, and it's not your visibility. It's your story. And when your story is tangled, growth gets tangled too. Let me show you what I mean. When growth feels sort of stuttery, when things aren't landing the way they should, the instinct is to always look at tactics, especially with founders, the marketing, the offer, the pricing, the visibility. And sometimes one of those things, it does need adjusting. But very often the bigger reason sits somewhere else entirely. It sits with the story underneath the business. And here's what I mean. Every business has a story at its heart. We know this, why it exists, who it's for, what changes, for people because of it. And when your story is clear, when you can say it simply and someone, immediately understands, something happens. Conversations get easier, the right people find you, decisions feel sharper, and growth starts to feel intentional rather than accidental. But when the story is tangled, and when you find yourself, over-explaining, people nod politely, but they don't quite get it. And when you describe what you do differently every single time, it confuses people and growth gets tangled too. Not because you're not working hard enough, and the market's probably ready, because your story underneath the business hasn't been made clear yet. I want to share a story that illustrates this perfectly. We're going to use Sophia. Well, she founded Dragon Backpacks with a really clear vision, for everyone to carry on their back a daily reminder of the responsibility to the world, living each day with purpose, awareness of the impact that we have. In the early days, the story ran through everything. The story, the team understood it, the customers did, decisions were easy, the business grew. But then new people joined, new pressures. The focus started to go towards targets and sales and numbers. And slowly, without anyone realizing, it started to drift. New team members started making changes that felt sensible in isolation, but didn't quite go towards the original vision. The product started to lose its thread, and Sophia herself, she was converting, less, moving slower. The business changed fundamentally, and the story just became loose. And when Sophia got straight again, when she reconnected with what she was doing to why she was doing it, everything shifted. Conversations became easier, the team got clearer, and growth started to feel intentional again. That's the power of a clear story, and that's what this month is about. So where do you start? Well, it's not a rebrand, it's not a new website, and it's not a complete overhaul of your message. You start with one sentence. At Wise Minds, we call it the heart of the company. It's the simplest possible version of your story. 3 things, 1 line. We do what, for who, so that you can, why it matters. That's it. It's not your elevator pitch. It's not a tagline. It's the simplest version of you do, for who, and what changes because of it. Here's an example. Imagine a small restaurant called Grandma's Table. We make homemade soup for busy people so they can taste comfort and connection, even on their busiest day. 1 line, true to purpose, and it doesn't describe the soup. It describes what the soup does for people. That describes what they do, but growth comes from describing what changes when you do what you do. So here's your exercise right now. Grab a piece of paper and write 1 line using this frame. We, then you're going to write do what, for who, and why it matters. No jargon, no over-explaining, just the simplest version of what you do, who it's for, and what changes because of what you do. And when you say it out loud, does it feel true? Does it sound like you? Would a complete stranger understand it immediately? And if yes, it's your heartbeat. If not, keep simplifying it until it does. Because when you can say your story clearly in one line, everything else gets easier. Your team understands what they're working towards. Your customers know, why they need you. And you step in, to explain yourself simply in every conversation to make sure people remain curious. Has your story become loose in the last 6 months? Or does it feel stuttery? And if you have this one sentence that you can say to yourself, does your story come back with clarity? We do what, for who, so that they can, why it matters. That's your heartbeat. That's where everything else begins, because when your story is clear, growth stops feeling accidental and it's intentional. Anyway, if you want to go deeper and you want to develop your value elevator pitch, you can grab that in the 8-day free Wise Minds experience, broken down to 30 minutes a day, that helps you go deeper into what your story is all about and how creating this alignment can be the beginning of this incredible growth journey. Hopefully I will see you there.